Hi, my name's Harry Shotton. I'm an animator from Manchester.
My name is Catalina Torres and I come from Colombia.
I'm Amy Brown. I'm an illustrator from London.
I'm Jessie Rose and I'm from the Jessie Rose Trip. I'm a musician from Manchester.
I'm Agathe Finney. I'm a fashion designer. I live and work in Manchester.
Trend has been the kind of monster in fashion recently. A lot of big business make a fortune out of trend by pumping it into magazines, onto TV, and they cross-pollinate from certain stars that work in in film and stuff like that, and it becomes their label. All this is just fluff. This is not real designing. This is just trend, globalized nonsense. Agatha should definitely feel confident enough to take her portfolio to all the fashion houses. She'd do really well. Her confidence in her collection is very strong, which I like. You know, every designer should have an ego, and obviously working towards the positive angle. She has created really good shoulder details. I like the strength across the shoulder with the light fabrics at the front. Her interpretation of what she said is Bowie is very, very good. Like the modern movement on, it's not too literal, which is always a good thing to do. Yeah, I'm really liking that collection. I think she's going to do well.
I don't really have a strategy to break into the fashion industry. I think it's more important to just keep to yourself and continue doing what you're doing. If your personality screams out enough for people to get attention for it, then I think that's good enough. I mean, obviously you have to project yourself a little bit, do competitions, or talk to the people that you're actually interested in. But I don't agree with people just letting loose to anywhere. I think you should be, yourself and aim to certain parts that you're interested in.
I feel like the culture we're living in is shifting a little bit towards this thing of getting to making a fast buck and becoming famous rather than honing your talent. I think what we're talking about with noise is the other side of the coin. I think these people are genuinely into making music, all the other fields of the arts as well. I think that's why noise is interesting to someone like me, because it's actually promoting real talent and people that wouldn't go to the X Factor. I picked Jessie Rose. She got a nice voice as well, so it just ticked all the boxes of just a no-nonsense kind of song, not too trendy, not too cool, but just a really good classic sounding song. And I think she's only quite young, and to be producing songs and music that sounds like established, I think it's quite incredible really, because I think she's 18 even, or something like that. I was nowhere near that level.
You've got to remain on the ball, you've got to keep up to date with exactly what's going on in the industry. Like, I've just spent hours and hours on a computer, literally like MySpace, Facebook, kind of getting people to come down to your gigs, and I think that's the most important thing, because then it's word of mouth then. Like, the more people that you get to know, the more people in the industry that hear about you. Hopefully all good stuff helps.
I think when you need management is when things start to get too hectic for you and you can't cope with what to do next. That's when I decided I needed a manager. I'd met lots of local managers, people who were friends and stuff, and I kind of discarded that as like, that's not the route I want to take. I want somebody that's got some experience, and they're all going to take 20% anyway, so you might as well have someone that's got 20 years experience as opposed to 1 week.
Art's a very cruel sport, and only the good people really seriously get through. And I think it's a myth to think that There's a lot of undiscovered talent around. Of course, young people need encouragement, and of course they should be encouraged. But nobody underestimate the fact that it's a kind of difficult arena to be in. Catalina's installation is very interesting. It's like a painting in a way. It's one of the things I like about it. It's very relaxed. It's very dreamlike. I think it's also very original. I think she uses her materials, the found objects, in a very delightful and very touching way, and I like its sort of fluid, almost Matissean quality.
Don't take yourself too seriously, and always try and keep your values, and just fight for your dreams. Don't let anyone try to stop you. If you believe in something, you should do it.
You have to find this balance between being yourself and making things for yourself and pleasing yourself and responding to your own head and your own dreams and your own fantasies, and translating them into some kind of reality, whether it's now with the current world. I mean, in the old days it was just painting and sculpture and drawing. Now you can do it with film and endless different kinds of multimedia possibilities, which are all kind of now part and integrated in the art world.
Finding the balance between juggling job and work and stuff and actually still managing to create is pretty tricky. I found after finishing uni I went through a bit of a rough patch because I couldn't find a job and stuff. Obviously having to sign on to the dole was something I really didn't want to do. Fortunately I managed to get a job in an art shop 3 days a week, which was pretty good. It means I've got the rest of the time to create my comic and stuff as well. It just means scraping by on as little money as possible. I think that definitely funding is something you should look at if you're thinking of producing a film, especially because the amount of money that you have to put into it is quite phenomenal, really. My advice for other filmmakers who are trying to get a foothold in the industry is to get their work into as many small film festivals as they can and get their work out there for people to see, because obviously that's the most important part about if you're making a film, you want people to be able to see it at the end of it.
Jagna was my first choice because I think at the age of 25 she has achieved a high level of sophistication and professional excellence. She's chosen to work on a relatively small project she can fully resolve. Somebody like this could immediately step into our office to work and contribute. There has been too many examples of people going independent too early and getting stuck with very small, insignificant projects. I would recommend to go into one of the leading firms and get involved in ambitious projects at the highest levels. You need to be patient and contribute, and then you might be able to, at a later stage, to come out and step forward as an independent voice and figure.
After hearing all the tracks online at Festival.com, there was really a variety. You had people that had really strong tracks, and people that had their whole thing together, that had plots, they was already doing stuff. And then you had these people that were literally just in their bedroom, 13-year-olds, 14-year-olds entering. I think it's really good that you actually allow everyone to enter the competition.
Well, this was the first 16 bars.
It's a new day, turn a new page. But it's funny cause I'm stuck in my old ways. Watch the sun fall, see the moon rise. Watch the moon fall, and see the sunrise. It's a new day, and I'm ready and I'm waiting, anticipating a new day.
I love life.
What a hit is not my decision, it's not your decision, it's the public's decision. And it's down to the public whether your song's a hit. And that is what you need to remember. When you're a musician, as much as you're making music for you and everyone and whoever you're making it for, it's the consumer who's actually going out and spending their money on your record. And you need to remember that's who your target audience is. At the end of the day, if you want to make a hit and sell records, you need to make a song bearing that in mind.
I'm looking for artists with the capital A who happen to have a market within the illustration field, or can work within animation, could perhaps produce their own products, toys, prints, the whole kind of spectrum of different activities. I was familiar a little bit with Amy's work, and it's just very energetic, it's fresh, it's lively. The stuff I like best of hers is the kind of childlike colour, childlike technique applied to something with quite adult content. I think that the two is quite a funny kind of device to use. One of the reasons Amy's strong in this way is that she has a whole world defined. She has her typography defined. She has interiors, exteriors, characters. And not many advertising companies call for their products to look grotesque in any way. But having said that, again, within music, there's great potential. And I think given the right art director, definitely within advertising and design as well.
Narcotics have been systematically scapegoated and demonized.
Yeah, just apply to sort of all the magazines that you love. Don't get too disillusioned if it doesn't seem to be working, because quite often people will sort of mentally store you, and then you might get a phone call sort of a month or so later and they actually want to use you for something.
The traditional way of cutting your teeth is to go the editorial route. Go and see all the magazines. But before you do that, check the magazines out. See how they're using illustration, because magazines have weekly or monthly sections that they have to fill, and they are able to re-art direct that every time they produce a magazine.
NOISE was a good site to sign up to. It's really quick, and you know, you can kind of forget about it for a year, and then hopefully something will come at the end of it.
I think it's really important to speak and spend time with the client and just understand what they're about, what they're selling, what their product is, who they're selling to, who their audiences are, and then you're in a really great position to start thinking about design.
We're in a difficult climate at the minute with everything going digital and record companies not operating or the same way they used to. So it's difficult to give advice at this stage, but apart from to keep doing what you're doing and perhaps release something off your own bat like I did.
Get yourself paid. Don't do anything for free per se. Make sure you get some kind of cash back when you do stuff, and then you'll survive, really. Make sure you go to magazines, you take your stuff round, be extremely helpful. When you do placements at other people's studios, make sure you, from washing the dishes to tidying up the stock room to picking up the dirt on the floor, make sure you come across extremely useful. Always willing to help.
But in the end, probably young artists need to invent themselves and be with people of their own age and try and establish a new generation. And that's why I like the NOISE Festival, because, you know, maybe it's sort of a little push to encourage people to establish their own kind of authentic voice.
I'll do another one of them.